Good evening, everybody. It's about 5 after 8. Do this live every Monday between 8 and 8:30. So make sure you set your alarms, you turn on your notifications so you know exactly when I come on here. This is the first time that I've actually done this since the trip to Ohio. So I think I've actually missed you guys a little bit. I started to get a little bit of some withdrawals as to jumping on here and helping you guys out and just talking dogs like we normally do. As you can see tonight, we're going to talk about misconceptions, what I think are the top 3. I'm going to wait a little bit for some more people to jump on, so if you guys are watching this not live, I apologize for the delay. But I also feel that if I just give you the 3 right off and end it, I think there's a lot more that goes into it than that. So, again, had an awesome trip to Ohio, Serena and I did, other than the major detour on the way back from Ohio, which was a big pain in the butt. Our day was supposed to be about a 4-6 hour trip, and it turned into, I think I figured about a 15-hour trip. 15, 14, somewhere around in there. So it was a while. But anyways, I'm glad you guys are here. I missed you guys, all my Facebook friends here, my canine friends that jump on here with me every Monday night. But anyways, so tonight, top 3 misconceptions about dogs, and also I'll be taking your questions as well. So fire away with any comments as we move along throughout the show, if you want to call it a show. Anyways, here's one big misconception. Dogs do not sweat through their tongue. I was actually told they did when I was younger, and didn't realize it till I got into this dog training world, that dogs actually sweat through their feet. I don't know if you've ever noticed that during a hot day in the summer, if you're maybe walking on like a wooden deck or a wooden porch, or maybe cement or something along those lines, that they'll actually leave footprints without their feet being wet. And that's hence why you get dogs actually sweating through their feet. That's also how they can contract worms, or any other, bacterial disease or something along those lines, as they're walking through the woods. I think a lot of people will probably think that, I guess this is like a 1A and 1B. I think a lot of people will think that dogs catch a lot of things that are maybe airborne, or they get worms from eating other dog species, and that actually, as much as that can be a problem, you also have to look at it from the fact that all their sweat glands are in their feet. So as much as that's the way out for the sweat, also the way in for all the bad, nasty stuff. So again, dogs actually sweat through their feet. You might have heard it here first. You might not have. I don't know. That's up to you. But again, it's nice to see this number climb, you guys. This is fantastic. I'm glad everybody's just kind of jumping in and checking this out. And I have fun doing this too. A load of fun. Here's another misconception that you guys may not have known, that when a dog's tail is wagging, it means it's happy. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a very nervous dog wag their tail, also a very aggressive dog wag their tail. So it really depends on the context of what's going on, and I think it's important to also remember that you have to take everything in context as far as what's happening. We always look at the tail as a barometer, okay? If it's really relaxed off the end of their back or hanging down a little bit, or maybe even just up slightly, that is okay. Again, perfectly fine. I think we all know that when that dog's tail is tucked down between the legs, that we're dealing with a very scared or nervous dog. I think that's documented enough that we all are very, very well aware of that. However, then you look at the dog's tail that's straight up, like a meerkat. We have a dog that comes to us, I call it the meerkat dog, because it's like, when the tail's up, it's just like sitting, it is like straight as an arrow, perfectly right up in the air. So anyways, straight up can mean a few different things. It can mean stimulation. It can mean arousal of some sort. It can mean excitement. If you really want to compare it to the whole wolf world, you could say it means dominance, but you guys, I haven't seen that many dominant dogs really come through my doors at work. I really can't think of one that I would consider just naturally dominant. I mean, I've seen some dogs with very, very, very good social skills, but I haven't seen one that comes in that's just really dominant, just overall dominant. It just doesn't. I haven't seen it, and I think that word gets thrown out too much. We could probably do our own little live stream on dominance, because I think like I said, I think it's just thrown around too much. Dave, how do you recommend to stop eating feces? Well, picking it up is really what it boils down to. I've heard so many different things, and here's the other thing, Dave. Here's another dog trainer confession. I can't tell you how many dog trainers I know who have dogs that eat feces. I've got one I'm trying to break from it, a dog that I inherited a couple of years ago, and it's just one of those things that you just got to be on it all the time. That's all there is to it. You just have to be on it, and you got to pick it up. I mean, I remember somebody messaged me, I don't know, 3-4, maybe it wasn't that long, a couple of months ago about their dogs eating it. I'm like, you got to pick it up. That's the only way they're really going to stop. Otherwise, you got to be out there and train them to stay away from it. And it's just, that's a hard thing to move away from. Now, that's really solution number one. Solution number two can be, and I've heard this, giving them maybe bananas or something like that in their food because it's more potassium for them. Isn't that the truth, Dave? Harder in the middle of winter in the dark. And plus they're frozen too. It's so gross. It's really nasty when they start doing that with the frozen ones. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah, so I've heard about the potassium level. I've also heard about there's certain nutrients that they're missing in their diet. Now, what are those nutrients? I have no idea. Because I know dogs that are doing this on a dry food, and I know dogs that are doing this on raw, that's eating a raw food. So I've seen it across the board, and I haven't. I think if somebody came up with a perfect solution, then so be it. But until then, and you guys, as soon as I will find out, or as soon as I find out, you guys will find out, because I know the struggle. Dog trainers put this little hashtag up, the struggle is real, that some trainers have this with their dog, and it's just one of those things that a number of us deal with. So it's not just you guys as far as that aspect. And I've tried many different foods with the dog that I've got now, one of them. So it's just one of those things. And I've also seen some, well, I'm not going to get into the stories of it, but it can get pretty gross. I mean, really gross. But anyways, not a fun subject to talk about, but sometimes you got to broach these subjects to, educate as well. It's really what it's about. Now, getting back to the tail, you guys, I've heard so many different things, and I remember learning about this even before I got into the dog training business, that if a dog's tail wags more to the left than to the right, then this is how they're feeling. It's funny. I've talked to some of the best and biggest dog trainers in this country, and I've never heard one of them actually talk about that, about how a dog is feeling when they wag more to the left or more to the right, or the direction part of it, I actually haven't heard anything of. Now, if somebody can come tell me, without it being some sort of science-based something or other, that this is what it means, then so be it. But it's really hard to put your emotion or put a finger on the exact emotion a dog is feeling at that time, if you think about it. Because you guys, dogs can switch their state of mind. It's almost instant, A dog can correct another dog, and 5 seconds later, go play with a different one altogether. It's crazy. They do not harbor anything. They do not. They just let it go. And I mean, I think we could learn a lot from them. That's for darn sure. But that's really what it boils down to. But anyways, if you guys could share this, that would be huge to me. It would be awesome, and I would really, really appreciate it. You guys know I don't ask you to buy anything from me. But this is really the one favor that if I could ask you guys to do for me, would be that. Aaron DOJ, my dog Its tail spins in circles like a propeller. I've seen that. It's funny, especially if they try to slow down or something. You can see that thing going around and around and around. So it's pretty funny. Jelena, thank you for sharing it. I greatly appreciate that. All right, so here's the other thing, you guys. Here's the third misconception that I find is, I mean, I just come across this a ton. Dave, I've been reading the book you recommended, Let Dogs Be Dogs. Yes. Isn't it good? It is so good. There's so much information in there. It's really, and you got, and Dave, both those authors, I know both of them, they're such good guys too. I mean, they are so in it for the dogs, and I mean, their dedication is really, I love talking to those old school trainers. I mean, between Brother Christopher and Mark, I think they gotta have 70 years experience between the two of them. Brady's in the house. Brady's back. I'm here but working at the same time. Just got back from my son's wedding in Freiburg this weekend. Nice. It's like I get my whole crew back. You guys are great. You make me look forward to doing this. It's fun. So much fun. All right, so here's the third misconception that I see a lot, you guys. A lot. And this may not be earth-shattering to some of you, or some of you that it could be. I don't know, but here it is. Barking, baring of the teeth, growling, snarling, nipping is not aggression. Okay? We get a lot of calls where people will say, my dog is aggressive. Okay, great. Tell me what your dog does that's so aggressive. He barks aggressively. He lunges aggressively. The teeth, the snarling, the growling, all that. You guys, that is very, very, very common body language amongst dogs. And I think it's important that we understand we don't have to diagnose it, right? We don't have to diagnose exactly what is on that dog's mind. And I think we do that too often. And look, I'm guilty of that too. So I don't want you to think that I'm pointing fingers to, average dog owners by any means necessary. I'm not. I look at it from this aspect where if we just stop diagnosing, going, oh, he must feel this way, so I'm going to do this, or he must feel that way, so I'm going to do this. I don't look at it and I don't go down that road that way. You just look at, okay, maybe what caused it, or look at the big picture. Okay, my dog was good for, just lying there in the corner. Somebody walked over, dog got up and growled, person moved away, dog went back and lied back down. It's easy to say, oh, he didn't like you. But a lot of times we'll hear, oh, he didn't like you because you're a man with a beard with sunglasses and a hat. Or it's because you're a guy with tattoos. Or it's because, you're a guy with overalls on. Or it's because you're a guy with big work boots on. I hear so much of that stuff. And it really, I think that's where that diagnosing can get us into a lot of trouble. So again, you guys, the barking part of everything is not aggression. It's not the way that it works. It's their common body language. You want to know what my definition of aggression is? My definition of aggression is biting. That's all there is to it. If they are biting to inflict harm, then there's aggression. There can be biting to create space, okay? Or biting to kind of be like a shot over the bow where, hey, if you keep testing my boundaries, I'm going to come at you. Okay? And we've seen dogs like that. And it's just one of those things. And we have to be aware of that as trainers. We have to be aware of that as dog owners, especially because we've domesticated them. It's just what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So again, make sure that you're not diagnosing as much, where you're just maybe, working with your dog. I think if you have a deeper connection, that you're not going to worry about trying to diagnose. Because listen, by the time you diagnose that one instance, guess what? It's gone. Absolutely, it's gone. Okay, there's a couple questions here, so I'm going to get back into them here for a second, because I know I missed a couple. Jelena, what kind of dog do you have yourself? If you do. So Jelena, I've got 3 dogs. I've got a little black lab beagle mix. At least that's our guess. Diagnosing, right? I'm not going to really diagnose it too much. Let's see. And I've got black and tan coonhound mix. And I've got I think he's a Beagle Walker Hound. It's the dog that I inherited a couple years ago from an elderly couple that were my customers, and they ended up passing away. So I just call him like my Beagle Walker Hound. He's literally like in between the size of a Beagle and a Walker Hound. So again, it's just more the personality that I'm dealing with in front of me than the breed, you know. So, Jenna, both my dogs bark for many different reasons. Sometimes it's because a person or dog is passing by the house, or the neighbor's dog is barking and they bark back. Yeah, so it's not an aggressive thing, Brady, but growling can be a precursor to biting, right? Yeah, and you know, here's a good one, you guys, because remember when I was at this workshop last weekend, this guy, George Cockrell, the trainer that was teaching, said that he's never had how did he put it? He said a growling dog won't bite, or something like that. And I just thought that was amazing the way he put it that way. Because if the dog is growling, they're trying to create space. They're trying to let you know this is a warning. If you come closer, it'll get that way. So it's just one of those things, but it's interesting the way he put that, without a doubt. It's fear. I mean, Dave, it can be fear, but you got to look at it from the other aspect too, where it could be just wanting to create space. It's not necessarily, you know, I mean, it could be, you know, if you have dog A and dog B that have lived together their whole lives and they get along, fine, they're not afraid of each other. But if dog A has a bone, then, you know, and dog B comes over, dog A could growl and be like, dude, you need to back up. So to me, again, very contextual, could be fear. It also just could be, hey, just back up, because I'm not going to deal with you. Like a skunk stomps his feet before he sprays. I was not aware of that. That is good to know. So if I come across a stomping skunk, I need to run for the hills. Jenna, Willow growls at other dogs when the other dog is acting too excited or growling, I noticed. She's never bitten or really ever tried to bite another. As an educated guess, I think she's trying to get space from them to be more relaxed. Here you go. So again, just be careful with the diagnosing part of it, because here's the thing that goes along with that. Here's an example. Back in the day when I used to do this out here, I would bring in, if I brought in a new dog that was really excited, normally like a puppy or something like that, like maybe, I don't know, 6, 10, 12 months. If that dog came in really excited, this might make a couple of you cringe, so I apologize, but trust me when I say nobody ever got hurt. If that dog came in too excited, I would actually cut it loose, because I knew the whole group of dogs out there would chill that dog out. So if it came in too excited, everybody would correct it. So if you go back to what you said, Willow growls at other dogs when the other dog is acting too excited or growling, I noticed. So two huge different factors there. But if it's too excited, other dogs will try to, depending on their skill level, will try to chill that dog out, because that excitement just is not something that they care for. Especially, I mean, out here, this was like, you could hear a pin drop quite often out here with, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 dogs. So if you brought one in that was a little ramped up, it got everybody's attention, and then they chilled that dog out. Not aggressively, just creating boundaries. And it was very cool. I wish I had more of my iPhone stuff back then. But do you immediately try to correct the behaviors you do not want, growling, etc., to prevent escalation, because they're not allowed to make any space there? Aaron, it really depends. I think if you... hey, Daniela, welcome back. I think you can't really correct growling, because here's the thing. Again, if dog A is growling to dog B and you correct that, dog B moves in quieter. It makes A start to just avoid, and one of two things. You have fight or flight. You know, it's just one of those things. Northeast Pennsylvania, Letty, holy cow. Awesome. Wow. I mean, that's crazy to me. Letty, I mean, thank you. I'm humbled by that. That's unbelievable. Wow. Anyway, so if you correct, you know, the growling in dog A, you're going to get that dog, you're going to create avoidance. And if you correct a dog from growling, you're actually taking away one of their skills to let other dogs know that they're uncomfortable. If you take that away, that can be bad. It can really, really be bad, you know? Now, here's the other thing. if you're bringing a dog into a big, like today we have a dog that we've got a board and train, not a big fan of other dogs, growling at all of them. So do I correct that? I don't, because I still need to know how that dog feels, and it lets everybody else know how that dog feels. However, if there's too much growling going on, then I have to take that dog back away, get back across that threshold where I can actually connect with that dog, and then work from there. But again, so instead of thinking about correcting the growling at that level, I'm going to get the dog back away and work with it, and then, eventually move closer and closer and closer. Jenna, did the other dogs lunge or snap at them? She doesn't try to bite, but will lunge or snap at them a bit. I mean, here's the other thing too. You may be talking, if you're talking about on leash, then you're talking about leash reactivity too. So leash reactivity is one of those things too, where it's usually a lot of times where it's created by the handler. It's one of those things that whole, like, you guys, if your dog is pulling ahead and you're pulling back on their neck, you're making them go this way. Look what happens to my chest. Out, right? What happens to my shoulders? Up. And what happens to my head? Now I focus more. So if you're behind your dog and you're trying to hold them back and you're creating this behavior, now you have two dogs that are like, what are you looking at? Nothing. What are you looking at? And then you're getting closer and closer, and then you get this explosion of behaviors. So a lot of times, when you're getting this lunging and snapping, and there's just not enough space either, you guys. That's really what this boils down to, is that you've crossed that threshold where your dog is manageable to the point where your dog is no longer manageable. It's just one of those things. And if it means you going to the other side of the street to keep your dog manageable, then so be it. But it's one of those things that we have to be super aware of, is that threshold of where we still have control of our dog to not. It's usually a distance. Your dog will tell you exactly where it is. But being aware of that threshold. You guys are firing with the questions tonight. I'm not very concerned when my dog growls at another dog, but I don't like it when he growls at me when I try to take a bone away or something else away. Yeah, that's a problem, Brady. That's something that you need to work on. No doubt. A lot of those impulse control videos, some structure, yeah. Jenna, for example, we went for a walk the other night and she didn't mind the dog we came across at first. And she didn't mind the dog we came across at first, but then decided to lunge, snap, bark, and growl. She instantly went from fine with it to acting the same. Yeah, it's contagious. I mean, sometimes dogs are that's the way on leash or harness, she's better about it. She growls more when loose with the other dogs than leashed. Yeah. And Cindy from Southwest Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh, you guys are killing it tonight. Holy cow. Only on leash she acts out when the others do, like on the walk. But loose, she's almost 2 out of 3 times she starts to growl and be upset. You're just too close to them, probably, Jenna. I mean, if it's something that you want to work on, then I would seek out some help. If you're cool with it and you just want to manage it, then just create more space. If you're meeting dogs off leash, carry a walking stick with you where you can actually, you're using it as an extension of you. So instead of reaching out just arm length, you can reach out, and then you've got this, a little further. I'm sure you guys have seen tons of our videos, of social, and we carry the stock whips around. You guys, they're great. They're another 4 or 5 feet long that we have as an extension to help create space of our own dog, and that's how we can stick up for our own dog too. Otherwise, you're trying to do it with hands and stomping your feet and screaming and hollering. No, man, these things are great because you can just reach right out, crack the ground, crack the air, wave it in the air. You've got something very large, and all of a sudden that becomes very intimidating to dogs coming to you off leash. Dave Horner, click and treat to get back to pay attention to you. I don't know if I would do that, Dave. I don't know if you're referring to doing that while they're lunging. I would not. I would not suggest that at that time. And plus, you've got to build that up at home in a very no distraction environment first, before you bring that into play. because otherwise they're not going to know how to handle that or even know what it means. Keith, jumping dogs. I take it, Keith, you're having a problem with jumping dogs? Again, if you guys can share this too, that would be fantastic. How else can we get to Pennsylvania without you guys sharing this too? So again, thank you so much. And we're going to do a little roll call of states again tonight too. I want to see where we're at, see what kind of a reach we're getting. I think it'd be pretty cool to get out there quite a bit. Did you guys see too how many comments the last video that I had too? It's like over 200 comments. Keith, he likes to jump on you. You know what I want you to do? Is do this, Keith. Okay, you ready? Nothing. Freeze. Don't move. Don't acknowledge. Nothing. Unless they start nipping or something like that. Okay? And I'm going to give you advice that did not come from me. That came from George, who I went to see. This is what I want you to do. And you guys have to stick with me for a second here, okay? Is Keith, when you walk in the door, I'm assuming this is maybe when you come home, and your dog's jumping on you, I just want you to just to be still, okay? No words, no nothing. Give it some time. If your dog intensity comes back down, then great. No problem at all. If your dog continues for a minute or two, I want you to look right at your dog, bend right over, and not scream, not yell, just a really loud houch. H-O-U-C-H. Houch. Okay? Maybe we'll get into the reason why next week. I'm going to leave a little mystery for you guys tonight. But try that, okay? But otherwise, I really want you to focus on being still. You guys, being still is very important. Okay, I got to scroll tab back through because I missed a couple questions here. Michelle, we 2 small dogs and they bark when we come home, but keep barking even when they see who we are. Is this something we should train them to stop? It does get annoying. Yeah, I would. I would want that to stop. I would address them. Absolutely. Jenna, we've slowly started working on reactions with her and socializing with other dogs. She's done much better with the exercise, but sometimes I wonder if it's possible that some dogs are just not into other dogs as much as some. Yeah, have you ever met dogs that just don't like other dogs? I use the word like loosely. Yeah, so it's funny. I was doing the radio spot today, and the host asked me almost that same question. Do you think there's dogs that just don't like other dogs? If they don't like other dogs, there's a reason. Usually it's lack of socialization or lack of some rules or structure coming from the owners. But you guys, they're born with a litter. You know, they're born with a litter, so they grow up with other dogs. It's in their blood to get along. Dogs don't want conflict. They don't want conflict every day. They like that just emotional, happy place to be. And I think it's important that we recognize that. That being said, if you're not socializing, if you're not exposing your dog to people to dogs, to a little bit of everything as they grow up, then I think you're going to run into problems. So that being said, I think it's fair to say that there's just certain people that we come across that we don't get along with and we just don't care for. And I think that can be true about dogs. I've never interviewed a dog, so I can't tell you if that's true or not. But I've got my assumptions. I think there's just some dogs that are just going to exist with each other, and there's others, obviously, that are just happier than hell to see each other. When saying "ouch," do you make eye contact with the dog? Absolutely. Absolutely do it. Yep. But it's got to be firm. It can't be very soft. Okay? It's got to be firm. Without a doubt. Good. We live in the city. Other dogs and people are not in short supply, but we don't really stop to talk and see them. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Absolutely. Anne-Marie, separation anxiety. It's funny you mentioned that because I actually learned a little something about separation anxiety, and I'm sure you guys would like to know what. Here's the difference, you guys. Separation. Hold on. I was specifically pointing out that in my home, my dog's space is their crate, bed, etc., but I do not allow them to make public space in our home theirs. Good. Due to having little girls. Nice. Couches, human bed, etc. I've never let them free to make those public space to avoid other possessive space growling that could lead to nipping. to keep my girls in a more alpha position in our home, so I do not let growling escalate with humans' kids. And they do growl when they play. I'll agree 100%. I love the structure to that, Aaron. I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, you guys, here it is. Separation anxiety. There's a huge difference. Okay, and again, we're diagnosing here, so you got to be super duper careful about what's actually going on. Separation anxiety, and by the way, this is one of those behaviors that when I was a young trainer, training the first couple of years, I felt like it was one of those things I just didn't understand. The big misconception, another one, is that if you just take your dog for a big run or whatever, that you take away that anxiety, which I think to a degree will help, to a degree it may not. Separation anxiety, you guys, would be separate from every single human that they live with. Okay? Meaning this. If there's somebody in the house that leaves and that dog is still home showing anxiety, then you're dealing with separation anxiety. Okay? If everybody in the house leaves and there's no one left behind and the dog's showing anxiety, now you're dealing with isolation anxiety. It's a huge difference. Okay? So let's say you have Frank and Mary at home with Fido, okay, and they think that their dog suffers from separation anxiety. Frank can leave the house and the dog doesn't show any anxiety. Mary leaves the house, dog goes berserk while Frank's home. Okay? So separation anxiety can be more towards a single person in the house, or maybe a couple of them, where isolation is completely being on their own in the house. Now, to me, I think it's important to do some of those impulse control exercises that I've got a video on YouTube for. You guys can check it out. I think it's important to do those. I also think it's important that you have some pretty set rules and boundaries of where your dog can be and following you around the house. I'm not a big believer in dogs being able to follow us around the house. Like if you're watching TV and you get up to get something to drink, your dog follows you. Or if your dog follows you into the bathroom or the shower. I know, I've heard it. So it's just one of those things. So you got to be careful about what you are diagnosing at that time. I think it's really important to be aware of that, about exactly really what's happening. So, first-time dog owner. I have a 3.5-month-old border collie. So far, potty training is all we've mastered. Any misconceptions to avoid in the near future? Yeah, that dog needs a lot of crate time. You guys, 3.5 months. Yeah, that dog needs like 18 to 20 hours of crate time a day within a 24-hour period. That dog has to get some rest. That's the biggest misconception. And another misconception is this, that dogs don't need crates all their lives. And I'm not saying that they need them, but it helps them out a ton. It's like a babysitter too. I mean, it really is. I have an almost 17-year-old shepherd. Holy cow, that really no longer really likes the other dogs in the house. However, his side, so he gave him his own space in the kitchen. Okay, hold on. Where they won't run into him but can still interact if he wants over a baby gate. That's great, because he needs his own space. Like, he's too old to have to deal with any of that stuff. Any of those youngins. Separation, I would also like to hear about. We have 2 dogs, both 1.5 years, Goldens, litter mates. Yeah. And up until now, they have always spent every minute together in town. Lucy leaves, whines and cries. Very clingy to us when we get home. When Lucy is home, yeah, that's just always being with each other. Impulse control helps wonders. Good, Jenna. It is. You guys, it's a simple exercise. It really is. Super simple exercise. My dog has separation anxiety. She's okay if I leave, but not if my husband leaves. She does follow both of us around the house. Yeah. And again, you guys, I know, and for those of you that are watching me on here do this, wow, 34 people. We're cranking tonight, you guys. Yeah. Awesome. YouTube, my name, either Ian Grant or Vermont Dog Trainer, and Impulse Control. It's a 16 or 17 minute video, and it's fantastic, you guys. It's an easy exercise you can do at home. It's going to help with the separation anxiety. It's going to help with, it's a game changer to me. It really is. There's no doubt. Kim, 20 hours of crate time. Yes, within a 24-hour period. Not all at the same time, not straight through 20 hours. That would be psychotic to do that to a puppy. But it's got to be within a 24-hour period. You guys, we see so many puppies that are overstimulated. Their pupils are all blown up because they're not getting enough downtime. And by puppy, I mean anything from like 12 weeks to like almost a year. Okay? I mean, they need their downtime. Why do you think my dog wants to bring all of her toys and chew them while sitting on me? Like every time, it's like she expects me to start chewing at her old bone with me. I mean, she may be bringing it to you to share. Again, it's just going back to the diagnosing thing. I mean, the cool part is she likes that bond and she wants to be there with you doing it. I mean, I probably create a little bit of space with it. But, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, we leave. They don't seem to care about none of them leaves. We start at small times. The whole leaving it for small periods of time can certainly help. I mean, I've heard that it works. I've suggested people that to try it. So again, it's not. I'm not telling you that it doesn't work. I'm not going to tell you that it's not going to work. I think whatever you're going to do to try to initiate that bond with your dog, I think is fantastic. So, all right, I'm going to do a quick little roll call here. Hold on. Ashley, a few years back, my pit started nipping at people's pants, mostly men. It's not vicious, but we crate her when we have company now. Any ideas why she does this? She does this weird jaw quivering when she does it. Eek. Yeah, that's stimulation. Ashley, it's just overstimulation. It's like their jaws vibrating. They're just super stimulated. Yeah, your crating thing is a safe thing to do. I mean, again, if it's something that you work on, seek a professional in your area. Otherwise, if you just want to keep things safe and not have to worry about it, then crating is going to be your best bet, without a doubt. Kim, I know that's insane. I know it. I know it seems that way, but you have to trust me. You have to trust me. I wish Serena was on here, the trainer that works for me. She's got Aspen, a husky. She created that dog so much. I mean, when she was a puppy. Her dog's 2 now, and it helped her out a ton, you guys. I know. You just have to break up the day. That's all. If you think about it overnight, there's already, 8, 10, 12 hours. Puppies need their rest. Think of how much those puppies rest when they're with their mother. At 3.5 months, they were with their mother not too long ago. Not at all. And they were sleeping a ton. Kim, I know. Just don't dwell on 20 hours. 18 to 20, you have to break it up. Okay? That's all there is to it. I'm not telling you to do it straight, and I understand your concern here. I think everybody here knows that I'm not telling somebody to put their dog in a crate for 20 hours straight, okay? But puppies need their downtime, you guys. That's all there is to it. They really, really do. You guys, I know we're talking... Look, let's talk a different species for a second. Adult cats, 18 to 22 hours a day, they're sleeping. Okay? So, a dog, very different species, but they still need rest. They still need it. Okay? Melinda, thank you. Babies are the same. Babies are absolutely the same. And Kim, look, I get it. I totally get it. I know exactly where you're coming from. But here's the thing. If your dog is not getting that downtime, you're going to run into behavioral problems. That's all there is to it. Like, behavioral problems. You can count on it, okay? Yes, and I appreciate everybody that's coming to my defense here, even though you don't need to. I certainly appreciate it. That's for sure. Look at everybody chiming in. I thank you, but it really is, you guys. And Kim, I know, Kim. As a rescue, honestly, I would never adopt a rescue dog to a family that. Remember, I'm talking puppies. Okay, too, here. Remember, I'm talking puppies. I'm not talking like, senior adult dogs. I mean, And Michelle, that's a good point too. I mean, it really, this is all a part of it. And look, Kim, I am not the world's, you know, the world's, I can't even think of the term, know-it-all dog trainer. I'm not. But trust me when I say, and you can talk to other trainers about this. I go out and find yourself 10 trainers, Google or Facebook dog trainers, or in whatever state you want to, send them a message, ask them how much rest that they need. You're going to find probably somewhere, they're going to say somewhere between 12 to 20 hours a day rest. I can almost guarantee it. They really do. It's what it really all boils down to it. I mean, so, anyways. But I appreciate your conversation with this. I really do. I'm not looking to be controversial here. I'm not looking to argue. I'm just here to educate. So if 43, holy cow, you guys, we are rolling tonight. Hell yeah. Okay, quick roll call. I want to see what states you guys are in. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll answer some questions here. We kind of created it first. We used a puppy playpen that held them both of them. It sounds crazy, but they realistically played hard for an hour or so and would go back. Yeah. And here's the other thing, you guys, too. And if you followed the Facebook page, oh, Becky, you're in Eden. That's funny. Missouri. Kaylee, how did you hear about me from Missouri? Holy cow. And Connecticut. Wow. I'm going to have to go back through and see all these. And Syracuse. Okay, so I have a little bit of homework for those of you that are out of state. I would like, if you can, I would like you to message me and let me know how you heard about me, because I always like to keep Queens for real. Holy cow. I would like to know how you heard about me, because I keep track of obviously what's working for my advertising, Facebook kind of stuff. So, if you guys could message me if you're in Cape Cod, oh my gosh, this is so friggin' awesome. Just message me and let me know what got your attention. That would be very cool. So cool, you guys, tonight. Wow. And you guys, I'm always looking for ideas too, that, you know, something that you want me to cover. Like, you know, a couple weeks ago there, we talked about common dog mistakes. Tonight we're talking about misconceptions. I'm always looking for ideas too. So if you guys come up with something during the week, just pop it onto this little thread. How about let's talk about the dogs? Yeah, let's talk about the dogs. I'm here to answer your questions. I have a few more minutes. And then I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. Nobody wants to see that happen, because you can't unsee it at all. Okay, here's one. Our 11-month-old Newfie likes to jump on company. My husband, when they come in the door, she will not do it to me. She knows I'm the boss. She acts like she is never close enough. It's frustrating. Yeah, that's yeah, that's really what it's all about, though. You know, Rachel is she's never close enough to you. You're kind of like a security blanket. You need that space. You really do. Blue cane corso that destroys everything, almost 10 months old. Any tips? Don't tell anybody I said this. Rest. Unless you're already getting a lot of rest, then I would start doing some training sessions with this dog. Make this dog think. Challenge this dog mentally. That's what I would look at. Challenge that dog mentally. You guys, here's the thing. You challenge a dog mentally, they have to sleep to recover. Remember, I put this on a Facebook page. You run a dog or challenge a dog physically, they can get away with just resting their body to recover. Okay? So sometimes they'll sleep to recover, but a lot of times, you know, resting their body, they can get away with it. We want to challenge a dog so they can sleep it off. You guys are rolling with the questions now. I'm going to apologize now if I skip over anybody. I'm going to try not to. When my 1-year-old comes out of... You guys are killing it. Holy cow. Hold on. When my 1-year-old comes out of the crate, she rolls over and whines and gets super lovey, insecure attachment. What's that about? No matter how long she's been crated. Marin, I would just hook that dog to a leash, take him right from the crate right outside. I don't want that behavior to repeat itself. Dave, I would love to hear what you learned different in Ohio. Dave, I'm probably going to cover that next week because it's a little late tonight. So, but that would be a good one for next week because I've got all my notes. I can sit right here and talk to you about what I wrote down for notes. Can you talk about ways to stop dogs from jumping up? I have many dogs I care for, old and young, and they all jump. I turn away and they still jump up. How do I keep them from doing this? Katie, if you think about this, when they jump up on you, it's actually making you move and turn away. They're making you do that, you know. So that's the way I would look at it. And try this. And you guys, this technique I just learned, and I'd love to hear some feedback. Sit still. Be still when you walk in the door. Do not do anything, you guys. Dogs are not going to burn energy on something that they do not get anything out of. You know, if you just sit there and just, you know, they jump and jump and jump and jump and you don't do anything, it's not going to provide anything for them, so they're not going to keep doing it, okay? You guys, I don't know if I'm going to get to everybody's questions tonight, but I promise you tomorrow or the next day I'll go through and answer your questions and type out answers for you guys, okay? I'm not going to leave you hanging. Not at all. She's coming your way very soon. Oh, cool. All right, cool. Yep, Aaron, boundaries and health are healthy for kids and dogs. Dog used to have reactive meltdowns, doesn't so much anymore, but if someone tries to pet him, he will try to bite. It's like he went from meltdown mode to stealth mode. That's the sniper. You got to watch out for the sniper. Nobody's allowed to pet that dog anymore. DOG. That dog needs space, and that's what it's trying to convey. So, no way. You said that click and treat was too soon for our reactive rescue dog, but what would you recommend in the meantime if we run into a neighborhood dog? You guys, look, the click and treat is fine. I get it. But you can't introduce it then, and you may be way beyond that threshold of when you can use it, too. You know, if two dogs are right here, click and treat may not work if they don't get along. You've gone beyond that threshold. That's all there is to it. I think you got to carry a walking stick with you and create that space so that dog that comes up to you knows that you mean business. I'm not telling you to hit the dog. I'm not telling you to slap the dog. No, I'm telling you to find a way to create space and stick up for your dog. That's what I'm telling you to do. Senior dog that can't get enough exercise, mental or physical? Big difference. Nipping of the toes, Loretta. Yeah, that's an excitement thing. You gotta chill out the excitement, or have your friend tether the dog first before they get going. Why is that behavior bad regarding Marin? Marin was the one, because we don't want that dog to be acting all insecure all the time. It's not a healthy state of mind. I just want that dog to walk out and to not experience having to get into that super, super, ultra submissive position when we're not asking for it. That's all. I want that dog to have some confidence. I don't want that dog to be, you know, that way. Letty, that's a perfect example. After an hour group class, their 2-year-old golden sleeps for 4 hours. Bang. That's what it's all about. Back out with them. They stop jumping on us inside the house. Good, Brady. Ian, did you let the cat in yet? He always seems to... No, but you guess what? I wonder if he's going to stay here. Brady, you're so funny. Oh, he's stuck. Really? Oh, darn it. Sadie, come here. Brady, you're so funny. No, but here's my kitty, Sadie. This is Sadie. Sadie, say hi. Sadie, say hi to everybody. She's being all bashful tonight. She's usually a pretty good love bug. Sadie. There, see? I have a brother and a sister. This is Sadie. This is Sadie cat. I'll put her back down. There's your weekly highlight, Brady, of the cat. Oh, that's great. You guys know me too well. Yeah, Heather, bring her up. Cool. Cool. You guys, thank you so much. I'm going to call this quits while I'm ahead. You guys are the best. This is the biggest number, 45, that we've ever been to. I don't know if I got higher than that because I was gabbing my brain out. You guys, so awesome. Share this, please. Please. I'm going to go back through, find out the roll call, see where everybody's from, because that's great. This Thursday, I'm interviewing Larry Crone from Kentucky. Really good dog trainer, you guys. Lots of experience. He is going to be on the next podcast, so hopefully this weekend I should have something rolling for that. Hopefully you guys are listening to it, Vermont Dog Trainer Show. I'm going to get all my little plugs in. And by the way, it's free, you guys. I'm not making any money off this podcast, so please don't think I'm trying to swindle you into anything. And then I've got a lot of trainers lined up for the rest of the month. I mean, a lot. Like, I'm going to be crazy with it. But some pretty big names are around the bend, too. So, but anyways, you guys, have a great night. Thank you so much for tonight. Share this. And we'll see you next Monday. You know what? Next Monday we'll talk about my trip to Ohio and the notes I took and the stuff that I learned. Okay? Remember, the more I learn, the more I'm going to teach you guys too. So, all right? You guys have a great night. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled by the reach, the stretch, and everybody's interest. So, again, thank you very much. And you guys have a great night.